When Beyond Light dropped, a whole bunch of content was put into the Destiny content vault. As well as planets and moons, many exotic quests became unavailable, so Bungie had to find another path for all players to access these weapons. The good news is they're now accessible from the Exotic Archive, or the Monument to Lost Lights, which can be found in the tower. So today I'm going to have a look at what you need to buy these exotics in regards to materials and currency, plus my top 10 recommendations on which weapons to go after and spend your hard-earned currency on. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. So exotic weapons are definitely worth collecting because at the moment they don't get sunset or phased out the game. You can always bring them up to the current power level. Exotic weapons are also some of the most powerful weapons in the game with unique perks, and they're definitely going to help you out whether you're a PvE or a PvP player. And you'll be able to find the exotic kiosk in the tower, and it's in between Banshee 44 and Lord Shaxx next to your vault where you can store your weapons. In there you'll find the exotics from the Red War, the original Destiny 2 campaign, Forsaken and Shadowkeep, and there's some really good exotics in there. Some that used to have really long quests, so buying them these days does make it much easier. To be able to buy the exotics you're going to need currency, and that includes Glimmer, legendary shards, planetary materials, prisms, shards and also ciphers. And that may all sound a little bit complicated, but don't worry, all these things can either be collected or purchased from vendors. It's just knowing where to look. So first of all, we've got Glimmer, and this is the main currency in Destiny 2 and pretty much can be found everywhere. So at the end of strikes, Crucible, Gambit, when you dismantle armor, weapons, pretty much everything you do in the game will reward you Glimmer. You can also go to the Tangled Shore and trade in other things for Glimmer with Spider. Next up there's legendary shards, and they are another common currency, and you'll get these from dismantling legendary or purple gear and shaders. Next up we've got planetary materials, so there are several different planetary materials that you're going to need to get for these older exotics, and you can collect some of these on various planets. Each is unique and only comes from one location. What you need to do is pick them up off the ground, or you can find them inside chests, or completing certain planetary bounties and running patrols. And you can use the Combo Detector Ghost mod to find both chests and also planetary materials easier. You can trade in other resources for certain planetary materials by visiting Spider on the Tangled Shore. So here's a full list of the planetary materials and their associated planets. So you've got Microphasic Data Lattice, that's found on Nessus. You've got Dustlight Shard, that's on the EDZ. Helium Filaments, that's from the Moon. You've got Byron Bow from the Dreaming City. Glacial Stalwart is from Europa. Spin Metal Leaves come from the Cosmodrome. And you've got Etheric Spiral from the Tangled Shore. Next up we've got Enhancement Prisms, and they are the step between the fairly common Enhancement Cores and the very rare Ascendant Shards. So you can get Enhancement Prisms by buying them from Banshee 44, buying them from the Spider, or you can complete activities like Nightfall the Ordeal on harder difficulties. Next we've got Ascendant Shards, and they're quite rare and expensive in Destiny 2, and you can buy them from Banshee 44, or you can farm them by going flawless in Trials of Osiris over the weekend, or by completing the Nightfall the Ordeal on Master or Grandmaster difficulty. Next up we've got exotic ciphers, and they're really rare material, and you can only have one of these in your inventory at the time. So you can get one of these from the season pass each season, or you can complete a special quest from the exotic merchant Zur each weekend. And you are going to need one of these whenever you want to buy a new exotic from the memorial. And finally we've got Spoils of Conquest, and you're only going to need Spoils of Conquest if you want to buy an exotic that used to come from an old raid. So you're going to need a lot of Spoils of Conquest if you want to buy some of the raid exotics, but you can farm for as many spoils as you want. So to get Spoils of Conquest, you want to run through the Deepstone Crypt raid and collect the 2 secret chests, and you can also repeat encounters you've already completed that week for extra Spoils of Conquests. Older raids like the Last Wish and the Garden of Salvation also give Spoils of Conquest, and you can spend this currency at the Exotic Archive to get old exotics, or you can use them from the final chest in the Deepstone Crypt raid to buy additional loot. So once you have the currencies, then you can spend them at the exotic kiosk, and let's have a look at some of the best you can get. So here's my list of the top 10 exotic weapons available from the exotic kiosk, and number 10 we've got the Mida Multi-Tool, and this is an exotic kinetic scout rifle. So it's got some interesting perks like Mida Multi-Tool, so this weapon boosts movement speed, and you got Mida Radar, so the radar stays active whilst aiming down sights. This is a very fast firing scout rifle, really useful in PvE, and it's very reliable, and it's a good one to have in the arsenal for a range of activities. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 100,000 glimmer, 150 dustlight shard and 1 ascendant shard. Next in at number 9 we've got Devil's Ruin. This is an exotic energy sidearm with a few really unique perks. So we've got Close the Gap. It's got a variable trigger, so you can fire normally by pressing the trigger, or you can hold the trigger to charge a high-powered staggering laser, and this is really strong against unstoppable champions. We've also got Pyrogenesis, so fully charging the laser refills the magazine from reserves, and one thing to note here is if you charge the laser with a full magazine of 15, then it won't reload, but if you have anything less than a full mag, then it'll refill the magazine to a full 15 bullets. And Devil's Ruin costs 1 exotic cipher, 100,000 glimmer, 150 dustlight shard and 1 ascendant shard. And number 8 we've got the Fourth Horseman, and this is an exotic energy shotgun with 4 in the mag and fires at 100 rounds per minute. And the main benefit of the shotgun is Thunderer, which allows it to fire in full auto mode, allowing you to deal massive damage when you're up close to a boss. The low range and stability means it's going to take some practice to get used to this weapon, however, in the right hands this one is absolutely deadly. So the Fourth Horseman costs 1 exotic cipher, 125,000 glimmer, 200 dustlight shard and 1 ascendant shard. Next up we've got Lumina, and Lumina is an exotic kinetic hand cannon. So this one comes with noble rounds where kills of the weapon leave behind remnants, and absorbing a remnant converts your next hip-fired shot into an ally-seeking noble round and partially refills the magazine. We got Blessing of the Sky, so using a noble round on an ally heals them and grants both you and the weapon bonus damage for a short duration. So Lumina is a really good hand cannon, also really good if you want a support build. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 125,000 glimmer, 200 Byron bow and 1 ascendant shard. So at 6 we got Bad Juju, and Bad Juju is a kinetic exotic pulse rifle. It comes with the perk String of Curses, where kills refill the magazine and increase the damage for the weapon and grants super energy to the Guardian who wields the weapon. So it's really powerful and definitely worth picking up. It's a 450 RPM pulse and it's got 27 in the magazine. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 125,000 glimmer, 200 microphasic data lattice and 1 ascendant shard. So at 5 we've got Ariana's Vow, and this one is an exotic energy hand cannon. So this one comes with Looks Can Kill, so this weapon fires a special shield piercing ammunition. It comes with a scope, so it's strong against barrier champions. And it's also got Death at First Glance, so bonus damage when aiming down sights on the opening shot of attack, and this bonus is preserved if the shot deals precision damage or strikes an elemental shield. This one, really good one, really useful for Legend and Master Lost Sectors and Nightfalls and things like that. This one costs 1 exotic cipher, 100,000 glimmer, 150 helium filaments and 1 ascendant shard. So at number 4 we've got Ace of Spades. And Ace of Spades is an exotic kinetic hand cannon, 140 RPM with 13 in the magazine. The intrinsic perk is Memento Mori, which gives you some extra damage bullets when you reload after a kill, and you also get Firefly, meaning precision kills of the weapon increase the reload speed and cause the targets to explode, dealing solar damage to enemies in close proximity. This one costs 1 exotic cipher, 125,000 glimmer, 200 etheric spiral and 1 ascendant shard. So we're going into the top 3 now. At number 3 we've got Izanagi's Burden, and Izanagi's Burden is an exotic kinetic sniper rifle. Some really useful perks including Honed Edge, where you consume the magazine and load a round with additional range and damage, and also no distractions. Aiming this weapon for a short period reduces flinch. This one was nerfed back at the start of the Shadowkeep era, but it's still one of the best DPS weapons in the game if you're going after a boss with a stable crit point. Using Hone Edge, you load up the magazine into a single high damage bullet and can still cause major damage, and you'll be an asset to any Nightfall or raid team with this weapon. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 150,000 glimmer, 250 spin metal leaves and 2 ascendant shards. So at number 2 we got Thorn, and Thorn is an exotic kinetic hand cannon introduced in Forsaken and remains one of the best hand cannons in the game. So this one comes with Mark of the Devourer, so rounds pierce targets and deal damage over time, and kills of the weapon leave behind remnants. It also comes with Soul Devourer, so absorbing a remnant strengthens Mark of the Devourer, and partially refills the magazine. So this is great in both PvP and PvE, and one of the best all-round weapons in the game. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 125,000 glimmer, 200 dustlight shard and 1 ascendant shard. So in at number 1 we've got Anarchy, and Anarchy is an exotic power grenade launcher which features arc traps. So these are grenades that stick to surfaces and chain arc bolts to other mines. This one is great for DPS, will help you take down dungeon and raid bosses in no time at all. That's definitely a must-have to pick up. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 150,000 glimmer, 240 spoils of conquest and 2 ascendant shards. So those are some of the best all-round weapons in the game, but next up let's have a look at some of the best in PvP. So at number 3 we've got Bastion, and Bastion is an exotic kinetic fusion rifle. Really good fun and unique, and it's a really good choice for PvP. So Saint's Fists allow the weapon to shoot 3 slugs of multiple bullets, really strong, and can stop Guardians and their supers in their tracks. So PvP is really strong, but it has a decent delay on it, so you're going to have to use good timing. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 100,000 glimmer, 150 etheric spiral and 1 ascendant shard. At number 2 we got Sturm. So Sturm is an exotic kinetic hand cannon that sits in the aggressive 120 rate of fire hand cannon family with a couple of really good perks. So it's got Accomplice, so kills with the weapon fill the magazine in the equipped energy weapon from reserves, and we've also got Storm and Stress, so kills with Drang reload the weapon and overflow bonus damage rounds to the magazine. The Sturm is really good these days, as Bungie made some significant changes to aggressive hand cannons when Beyond Light came out. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 100,000 glimmer, 150 microphasic data lattice and 1 ascendant shard. And finally, at number 1 for PvP we got Last Word. So Last Word is an exotic kinetic hand cannon, and it's really useful in PvP. So together with the base reload speed, the main perk on the weapon is Fan Fire, where the weapon can be fired continuously and quickly, and faster reload and increase accuracy on successive hip-fire damage. This is a 225 rounds per minute hand cannon with 8 in the magazine, meaning you're going to get off quick shots, and this one is going to be really effective in PvP. So this one costs 1 exotic cipher, 125,000 glimmer, 200 etheric spiral and 1 ascendant shard. Well, let me know what you think down in the comments on which weapons you're going to get from that exotic kiosk. And that is it for this guide on which weapons to buy from the exotic archive and the Monument to Lost Lights. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.